Hi there, Christopher Westfall here. A couple of weeks ago, I told you about how the Biden administration was actually going to cut Medicare Advantage for the year 2024. That's what they said they were going to do. They're going to actually bring them in line, stop some of the fraud happening with Medicare Advantage, and get it more in line with Medicare so as to extend the Medicare Trust Fund for another decade. Well, what's happened since? I can tell you what's happened since. There was a commercial that played by one of the industry lobbyists, and actually, let me just show it to you right now. This is what happened.
It's the knee.
Better than your hip. But that's the least of it. I forgot, you never read. Medicare.
What? They might cut Medicare Advantage.
Come on. They're talking about it in Washington.
Cut Medicare Advantage? Higher premiums? With inflation already so high?
That's nuts.
She gets it. Somebody in Washington is smarter than that, aren't they?
We're about to find out.
For 30 million seniors, Medicare Advantage is Medicare. Tell the White House not to cut it.
Is it though? Is it actually Medicare? Well, this is an actual commercial that came out from 3 congresspeople after this to talk about, is Medicare Advantage actually Medicare? This is very eye-opening.
This is an important message about Medicare.
Hi, I'm Congressman Mark Pocan.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky.
Hi, I'm Congressman Ro Khanna.
And I'm here to talk to you about Medicare Advantage.
About Medicare Advantage.
About Medicare Advantage.
We want to make sure America's seniors know that private, for-profit insurance, also known as Medicare Advantage, is not Medicare.
And that's why we just introduced the Save Medicare Act.
Private health insurance companies get seniors to sign up for private plans rather than Medicare by calling themselves Medicare Advantage.
But Medicare Advantage is neither Medicare nor an Advantage.
These plans seem cheaper or seem to offer additional benefits, but in the long run, they often don't cover the more expensive care that many retirees need.
So we want to stop private plans from calling themselves Medicare
and protect actual Medicare.
Making sure seniors' care is covered for the rest of their lives by a program with the power of real Medicare.
So don't be fooled by the commercial gimmicks.
And don't call 1-800-anything.
Get the program you've paid for and earned. Remember, only Medicare is Medicare.
Only Medicare is Medicare.
Only Medicare is Medicare.
So Medicare Advantage is not real Medicare, and it's plainly obvious. I want to share with you real quick, for those who don't know, if you're turning 65, you're wondering which way to go on Medicare. I just attended a conference that was in Florida 2 weeks ago, spoke at the conference, and I was shocked at how many agents had absolutely no idea that there's a Medicare supplement option. They've only been trained, as I've been talking about dozens of times on this channel, they've only been trained that Medicare Advantage is the sole solution for someone turning 65 and joining Medicare, so that you're not on original Medicare and exposed to 20% of all the costs out there. No, Medicare supplements don't pay agents as much money. That's why agents are only trained and they only tell you about Medicare Advantage. That's the HMO world or the PPO world, where everything must be prior authorized or else you don't get the treatment. Now, in past videos, and I encourage you to watch them, you can go to allaboutmedicareadvantage.com, allaboutmedicareadvantage.com. Watch the research from the Office of Inspector General and others talking about how Medicare Advantage routinely denies care, routinely demands prior authorization, but first they want you to go to the cheaper care first. None of that happens, you see, if you take the original Medicare, as the Congress people just alluded to, that you have paid into and you have earned your entire working life. All you have to do is supplement original Medicare with a Medicare supplement. A Medicare supplement is either Plan F if you're older, Plan G currently, or Plan N if you want to save the most money and get the best value. Medicare supplements are a dying breed because most agents won't bring it to you. I can make literally double the money if I sell you a Medicare Advantage plan when you are new to Medicare, as opposed to Medicare supplement plan. And so many times agents will tell me, I had no idea that we could sell a Medicare supplement plan. What's the difference? Well, with a Medicare supplement, you can go to any doctor in the country and any hospital in the country that accepts original Medicare. That's almost everyone. There's no network to check. If you're traveling, if you're an RV lifestyle, if you want to be able to go here and go there whenever you want to in your retirement, that's the way to go. Also, not only can it be used anywhere, but there are no prior authorizations required. You should see the hundreds of procedures necessary that require prior authorization in Medicare Advantage. And you don't know it. You'll never know it if you just join the program so you get free toothpaste, or you get something that just seems like it's a freebie. Oh, I get free dental checkups every year. Big whoop-de-doo. What happens when you need back surgery and you are dying in pain on the hospital table waiting for the prior authorization from your managed healthcare plan? They're managing you all right to get the most amount of money out of you. Anyway, the point of this video is to let you know that I've been right the whole time. I want to show you this. This is a video from 2010. 2010, I've been the first version on YouTube talking about these kind of things. This is a real quick clip from way back in the for Westfall, and I am your Medicare supplement agent. The reason I'm sending you this message by video is I want to take a couple of minutes to explain 2013, excuse me. It went back to 2000. Explain to you what's happening in the Medicare world right now. It's very important that you understand what's available to you out in the marketplace, as well as what you currently have and how that compares. All over the television for the last couple of months, you've seen advertisement after advertisement for these no-cost, zero-premium Medicare Advantage plans. And every year, some of our clients want to investigate these plans a little further because they do sound enticing. They sound very attractive to have a $0 monthly premium. One of the things I want you to be aware of is with Medicare Advantage, it's the plan that's managing your health care. I know it sounds normal, but when a plan manages your health care, they decide what surgeries, what tests, and what treatments are authorized and approved, not you and your doctor. I can't tell you how many thousands of stories we have of people who have gotten into the managed care plan because when they turn 65, you think that you're omniscient, you know everything that's going to happen with you. You've had a healthy lifestyle. You've had great health. Your parents lived to age 99, 100 years old. So everything's going to be fine with your health care. So you make this lifelong, sometimes irreversible decision to go from one way or another into a managed care plan. And you get over there and you realize, oh my gosh, I have to pay $500 a day in the hospital, $300 a day in the hospital. Then I get out 60 days later, I have to pay that again. I have to max out at $7,500 out of pocket if I have cancer treatment, if I have osteoporosis, administered drugs that are administered in the doctor's office, any Part B drug for, let's see, osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, you have injections happening and you're having to pay 20% of that cost. You're wondering to yourself, why don't I have a supplement to pay the other 20% of the cost? It's because you gave up the best choice for the easy choice. And now the sad part, the part that I've had to struggle with my entire life as an insurance agent since 1995. But when people go to managed care, then they suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I need that Medicare supplement that the guy on YouTube told me about. The problem is you can't get the managed care, you can't get the Medicare supplement later because you find out that it's your bad health that pre-qualifies you, that keeps you from getting a supplement later in life. So you can only get a supplement if you're brand new to Medicare, or you can qualify with good health underwriting later. Now, we specialize in the underwriting. We can't get everybody approved later, but we get a fair amount of people approved later. And there are a very rare number of agents that will even sell Medicare supplements. And those that do try to push you into Plan G, and those that do only target people turning 65. I started my whole career doing the Medicare business, trying to help people who are already on a Medicare supplement and had been deactivated by their new agent because the agent was only turning 65 chasing business. They only want the people turning 65. Why is that? Because when you write a policy when the person's turning 65, you never have to deal with them again. On a Medicare supplement world, there's no customer service required. Why? Because they pay all the bills. There's no referrals required. There's no prior authorization required. And for us as the agents, this is a wonderful thing because the company just pays for everything that original Medicare pays for. They pay for the other 20%. So a lot of agents, when they take the lazy route, they'll just keep on signing up people turning 65 and never are there for them when it's 2 years in. And they get a rate increase on their Medicare supplement. That's where I started. I started calling people that were turning 67 and said, hey, if you're 67, 68 years old, you had a new agent that chased you when you were turning 65, stacks of mail. How many can relate to that? And when you turn 65, they're wondering, what do I do when I turn 67 and get a significant rate increase on my Medicare supplement? So I was calling these people and letting them know of the brand new carriers that were out there, whether it was Aetna, Cigna, Mutual of Omaha, does not matter. I represented everybody in the market as an independent broker. So I was able to help those people that were with those higher rates, and no one's calling them to say, hey, can I help you with that higher rate? So I instituted this agency, the Senior Savings Network, a long, long time ago, and we help those people who are in a Medicare supplement try to get a better Medicare supplement to keep the rate down so that they can keep affording their health care and not have to go to managed care. But anyway, there's something new in the law that just happened. It's not the law, it's the policy of the Biden administration that said a couple of weeks ago, I told you, they said they're going to crack down on Medicare Advantage. They're going to stop the fraud finally. They're going to recoup some of these dollars that I can keep throwing money at them. Well, you had the commercial that happened with the Better Medicare Alliance and AHIP, the American Association of Health Plans, and they got to the lawmakers. They got to the Biden administration, the policymaker, and they said, let's go ahead and delay the implementation of saving money. Let's go ahead and stop holding a Medicare Advantage plan accountable for what they're doing with costs just running out of control and making up false diagnosis to charge the Medicare system more. So I don't run out of breath, I put the cool new world of artificial intelligence here to read to you this article that just came out. It was dumped on a Friday night on what the Biden administration has chosen to do with Medicare Advantage now. Thanks to the lobbyists out there.
Health plans. After intense lobbying by insurers, U.S. health officials say changes to reduce overbilling in Medicare Advantage will be phased in over 3 years. The Biden administration on Friday finalized new rules meant to cut down on widespread overbilling by private Medicare Advantage insurance plans, but softened the approach after intense lobbying by the industry. Regulators are still moving forward with rules that will lower payments to insurers by billions of dollars a year. But they will phase in the changes over 3 years, rather than all at once, and that will lessen the immediate effects. In the short term, private health plans will still be able to receive payments that Medicare officials do not consider appropriate.
Isn't that amazing? They're still going to be able to receive money for care that is not appropriate. This is only on Medicare Advantage.
The system will eventually eliminate extra funds the insurers receive for covering patients under 2,000 diagnoses, including 75 that appear to be the subject of widespread manipulation.
Widespread manipulation, but why do anything about it? No, let's not worry about it. Let's just delay the implementation of keeping people accountable with our taxpayer dollars. Don't worry about it.
But the extended timetable could also mitigate concerns raised by health plans, doctors, and others that the broad policy change might result in unintended consequences, such as increases in premiums or reductions in benefits for Medicare Advantage beneficiaries.
Yeah, right.
In the 2 months since the proposal became public, insurers and their allies had mounted an expensive, loud lobbying campaign, employing television commercials, pressuring lawmakers on Capitol Hill, and enlisting thousands to file comments in opposition.
Told ya.
The nation's top Medicare official acknowledged on Friday that the industry's outcry influenced the shape of the new rules. "We were really comfortable in our policies, but we always want to hear what stakeholders have to say," said 𝗪𝗂𝗂𝗃, the administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. She said desire for a slower policy shift was something that we really heard come through from our comments, and we wanted to be responsive.
How many times did they reach out to you, the taxpayer, and say, Are you tired of being screwed by these gigantic, enormous Medicare Advantage companies that are screwing you over and taking away your Medicare trust fund? Did they listen to you, the taxpayer, or did they just listen to the stakeholder that is the insurance company that the government wants to wash their hands of all Medicare retirees, dump them into private insurance so that private insurance can take care of them instead of Medicare having to take care of them? Oh, it sounds like that's the only person they listen to, actually.
The new payment formula is a reaction to mounting evidence over more than a decade that private insurers have been exploiting a formula to extract overpayments from the federal government. Plans are eligible for extra payments for patients whose illnesses could be costlier to cover, which has encouraged many to go to great lengths to diagnose their customers with as many health conditions as possible. Insurers are collecting tens of billions of dollars in extra payments a year, according to various estimates. Nearly every large insurer in the program has settled or is facing a federal fraud lawsuit for such conduct.
Wait, did you hear that? Nearly every insurer with Medicare Advantage is facing a federal lawsuit for this conduct. It's freaking fraud. Nearly every insurer is facing a lawsuit. But should the part of the organization of this administration, this executive branch administration of the Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, going to hold them accountable? No. Why would we want to do that?
Evidence of the overpayments has been documented by academic studies, government watchdog reports, and plan audits. Despite the excesses and concerns that Medicare Advantage too often denies needed care, about half of all Medicare beneficiaries are now enrolled in the private plans, which receive government outlays of more than $400 billion a year. It remains popular with consumers, who often enjoy lower premiums and benefits like vision and dental services that the basic government Medicare plan doesn't offer. The program has also become profitable for the largest insurance companies. Recent research from the Kaiser Family Foundation found that insurers make about double the gross margins with Medicare plans that they make with their other lines of business. Humana recently announced that it would stop offering commercial insurance to focus on Medicare, which serves older and disabled Americans, and Medicaid, which mostly serves low-income populations. The new rule will eventually eliminate the extra payments for many diagnoses that Medicare Advantage plans were commonly reporting but that Medicare data did not show were associated with more medical care. Those diagnosis codes included a few that private plans.
Eventually, they're going to hold them accountable. It's just that now that they've identified this massive rampant fraud, they're going to delay holding them accountable just for 3 years. No big deal, nothing to see here. It's only your taxpayer money that's been paying into original Medicare that's now diverted into the private corporation so that they can deny care even more on the private side, on Medicare Advantage. No problem there.
Had specifically targeted, like diabetes with complications and a form of severe malnutrition that is typically seen in countries experiencing famine. With the 3-year phase-in, insurers will receive payments that are based on 1/3 of the new formula in the first year, and 2/3 on the old one.
I'm telling you, folks, this is some ridiculous stuff here when you're saying that, holy cow, they are absolutely ripping off the American taxpayer. I just want you to know that there are different things you can do. First of all, you need to let your Congress people know that Medicare Advantage is not real Medicare. The only Medicare is Medicare. The Save Medicare Act that they were trying to get passed, of course, is stalled in the House. It won't go anywhere in the Senate. But that's what we have to do, is call a spade a spade. You can call Medicare Advantage private health care. Absolutely, no problem. It is private. But you can't call it Medicare Advantage because it's nothing to do with Medicare. It is a private company deciding what you get or what you don't get as your health care. That's a big far cry from just original Medicare, where original Medicare, by the way, remember, you can go anywhere you want to in the country. Medicare Advantage, you better not try that, or you'll get a big fat bill saying, sorry, it wasn't covered because it wasn't in the network. So if you have anyone who's considering what to do with their health care, or if they've experienced these problems and they could possibly get through underwriting, or someone who's making the first choice for Medicare as to where to go, I highly encourage you to let them know about our free service. As an independent broker, we can help people across the entire United States to figure out which is better for them? Is it going to be managed care? And if it is, who do you have as an advocate besides Joe Namath on a television commercial who's not going to be there for you, who's not going to be accountable for you? You don't have anybody that's been experienced with Medicare for 25 years for sure that's going to be looking out for you. Instead, I have another suggestion. Why don't you have somebody who actually has been experienced with Medicare that is accountable to you? And we have a phone number. You can call the phone number. Let us review your case. It's always good to have a second opinion. Maybe you signed up for a case because somebody that's super out of breath and sounds like they're on amphetamines all the time is on YouTube 24 hours a day telling you Plan G, Plan G, Plan G, Plan G, Plan G. It doesn't cost that much when you're turning 65. Really, experience tells me that with a 12 to 15% rate increase on Plan G, that's what we call unsustainable for the long term. And maybe with some experience, you can tell seniors that there's a difference with Plan N versus Plan G. And if you have a conscience at night and you actually listen to the people who are calling in and you meet with your staff all the time saying, what are our concerns from the people calling in that we've helped in the past? And if you're constantly hearing that we only pushed Medicare Supplement Plan G and they can't afford the premiums anymore, and you tell them, oh, I'm sorry, you can just hang in there, buddy, because you don't know how to underwrite them to get into a better plan. And by golly, you're not going to take the time to explain to them the appropriateness of a Plan N, then I hope that your conscience catches up with you. Some other folks that are on YouTube that talk really, really, really fast. Plan G, Plan G. Let me write it all over the place. Plan G, Plan G. Listen to your heart, folks. Do you have somebody that's an advocate for you or somebody who's just on YouTube for the mere fact of trying to push you into one product? If you want Medicare Advantage, we're going to look out for you when you get on one. If we are responsible for you, if we are accountable to you, then yes, we can help you with those plans. But first, by golly, we're going to educate you about those plans. We want you to know the good, the bad, and the ugly about those plans so that one day you won't call me back and say, hey, Chris, you put me on a zero premium HMO plan and I told you I had health problems. I told you that this was going to be a concern for me going forward, and you still put me on that plan because maybe, Chris, you made double the commission than if you had put me on another plan that you had to explain to me that was not going to be free. Maybe there was some value associated with the plan that wasn't free that I should have had the time explained to me and the benefits explained to me of not going with managed care. If you have somebody come into your house to explain Medicare benefits to you and they only talk about Medicare Advantage and they only have you sign a piece of paper and you're not paying jack diddly squat for that plan, be very, very suspect of that. If there's some little inside voice in you that says, usually there's nothing good that comes for free. There has to be something more to this than that. There has to be something wrong with getting something absolutely for free and putting all your hope and all your faith and all your trust in a private insurance company and leaving the original Medicare system. Some of the lies that are commonly told by people in my industry are, you get all the benefits of Part A of Medicare. You get all the benefits of Part B of Medicare. Complete, total bull lies. But with Part C of Medicare, you get A and B and all the crap with Plan C, which is Part C of Medicare. You get dental, you get vision, you get a robot dog to keep you company, you get rides to your doctor, all this other ancillary stuff. Guess where they get the money for the stuff? They're taking it away from your hospital side. How much is that going to cost you? What limitations do you have on where you can go for treatment? You get it taken away from the Part B side of Medicare, which is where you can go for all your outpatient stuff. If your doctor says you need an MRI or you need a CT scan, however the health plan says to you, this is what they do. No, let's just get by with an X-ray and see what that does. Meanwhile, you're writhing in pain in a hospital bed, wondering why I can't have the procedure done, which is after the diagnostic test that your doctor said you needed right away. Your doctor would have said, no, forget the topical thing, forget the X-ray. We need an in-depth MRI or a CT scan, but the health plan, if they're managing your care, is a totally different route. Let me tell you an inside story about my family real quick. My father-in-law is currently in rehab. I just went to visit him about an hour ago. He's in rehab after he broke his hip. When he was in Florida, he was on a managed care plan, a Medicare Advantage HMO plan. He had some difficulty there when he had another incident with a broken leg, and he had some difficulties there with a skilled nursing facility. And that's the biggest complaint we hear about managed care is skilled nursing. After you leave the hospital, you still have to recover. And if you did not see my video on artificial intelligence with Medicare Advantage automatically kicking people out, there's another story that came out by Payer online today about that with one of the insurance companies. You really should watch that video. I'll link it above if you're watching this on your phone or on the computer. However, now he's in South Carolina where we live and we write business across the country. But when he moved here, we were able to put him on a Medicare supplement plan so that one day, God forbid, something else happens, a huge orthopedic situation, and we're not subject to the liabilities and the restrictions of care of the managed care world. And guess what? Thank God. Yes, he's on a Medicare supplement plan, and his discharge planner at the hospital here, Somerville Medical Center, right down the street, said, we need to put you in rehab. What kind of insurance do you have? And he said, I have a Medicare supplement plan. And they said, bam, good deal, no problem. No restriction, no prior authorization, no kicking you out before the doctor says we're kicking you out. Good. What the doctor says on a Medicare supplement is what rules the day. That's it. That's the only answer that you need. If your doctor and you have to constantly fight the health plan, which we found in prior videos, search my video for the Office of Inspector General's report about Medicare Advantage and how the sole interest of the Medicare Advantage plan is to restrict care so much so that the difference in what they receive from the government for your care and the difference with what they pay for you for your care, the difference there is called the profit margin. And if they can restrict care enough, then it all is profit. Not me saying this, it's the Office of Inspector General of Health and Human Services that said that in a publicly available report. As it said in that article there, when they're delaying the crackdown, they all know that they restrict care. They know that the care is substandard. However, yes, you're right. If you're turning 65 and you say to me, Chris, look, I'm 65 years old right now. I've been healthy my entire life. My warranty's still good on all my joints, my heart, my lungs, my kidney, my liver, everything's still good for another 20 years. I'd say, great, go for the free plan, baby. No problem. As long as your crystal ball is working, absolutely fantastic. However, if you say to me, I've been responsible with my money. I put money aside. I had a retirement savings program. I saved not expecting that my health care would be free when I retire and when I join Medicare. Therefore, I want the best options available to me. What are those options? I'll always prioritize and let you know the honest truth, which is original Medicare that you paid for your whole life, coupled with a Medicare supplement plan is going to be the plan that gives you the most choice. Because between you and your doctor, whatever you decide on, that's what you're going to have. And that's the best of all worlds, really. You either have a network that you have to go through and you have to behave within the network, and every procedure and every drug and everything has to be approved by the health plan, or you don't. You get to go where you and your doctor decide and the country's the best. I'm talking about things like MD Anderson, Johns Hopkins, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Kaiser Family Foundation, the hospitals that they've got. You get to go to the best of the best to treat your illness as opposed to the cheapest of the cheap, which is the HMO plan with capitation, which means they pay one cost for you every month, baby. And whether you use a lot of healthcare or not, they're only still getting that one cost for you. So the impetus is on, let's try to save as much money as possible by making your health care coverage as cheap as possible. Now, what it said in the appeals report from the Office of Inspector General is very revealing. And that said that most people don't appeal anything. As little as 5% of the people who are denied routinely by managed care, that's Medicare Advantage, they don't challenge it. They don't try to do anything. They don't fight the system. They just say, okay, well, my cancer treatment's not covered. What am I going to do? I'm just going to go home and be quiet and die. However, of the people on managed care who did fight the system because they did know their rights and they did appeal, 75% of them were successful in their appeal. Why is that? Because the plans know they're doing wrong. They just have artificial intelligence and they have computers saying, no, let's just reject it and take the risk that they'll appeal it so somebody else will hold us accountable, namely the government, when they find this out. Let's just let it go as a denial and see if the person's smart enough to make that appeal. If you go into a managed care setting and you go into the hospital or you go into recovery, you really have to have somebody that is advocating for you, a loud voice that is sitting by your bedside saying, no, this doesn't sound right, and making those appeals filled out for you. I talked to my cousin, no, it's my niece. Actually, she came up here for a baby shower for our granddaughter, and she works for a managed care plan, a Medicare Advantage plan in Florida. And unfortunately, she works in member services, and she has to take the calls every day. And she was telling me about the people that are in agony on the phone saying, what do I do? I've been denied this. I've been denied that. I'm in pain. I'm waiting for surgery. The surgery can't get approved because I'm waiting for the testing to tell them what to actually do with the surgery, and I can't get that approved. And she said the most frustrating thing is the only thing that she can do is say, well, you're going to have to call the grievance department and file an appeal. And she says that every day, every day, every day, every day. That's the world of managed care. So in my conscience, when I was in law enforcement, I just wanted to save the victims. I didn't want to beat up on bad guys. I just wanted to save the victims from being victims. What I learned with a lot of experience with that is, if I can help somebody not be a victim from the beginning, then I'll go home and feel better at night. That's why part of my career was doing community events where I had 200, 300, 400 people in an auditorium, and I would talk to them about not being a victim of crime, talk to them about not being a victim of identity theft, talk to them about not being a victim of rape. How? By avoiding being a victim in the first place. So the point of this whole YouTube channel, and I've been putting videos out about the changes coming out with Medicare, all the proposals, all the changes that they shifted the entire industry into, trying to get everybody into managed care so they can save them the most money. However, we turn out to find out from this fraud that they're actually paying more money than they would have had with original Medicare. I just want you to be educated. So when you're making the decision that may be irreversible, depending on your health, you'll at least have an informed choice, and you can work with a company that is just looking out for you. We make money from the insurance company. We don't make money from you calling us and saying, okay, I'm going to whip out my credit card. I need you to be my consultant. It's howdoyougetpaid.com. How do you get paid? People ask us all the time, well, your stuff is free, so how are you paid? So I made a video about it. We get paid from the insurance company, just like your life insurance agent does. You don't pay them extra. Just like your homeowner's insurance agent does. You don't pay them extra. We get paid by the insurance company. Our goal here, anyway, is to find you the best, most appropriate plan for you at the lowest possible cost. And when you get a rate increase, to shop that market for you again, because a plan G at one company is the same exact benefits as a plan G with a different company. A plan N with one company is the same as a plan N with another company. As an independent broker that does not work for just one company, we can shop the entire marketplace and say, this is the one I recommend and why. We have some rate increase action happening across the United States right now. We know one carrier that we used to like a lot is raising their rates in an inordinate amount of percentage rates right now. I don't like it very much. It's not making me very happy. We see it happening across the East Coast and coming across the West Coast. And it's the benefit of that experience that drives us every day as we meet with our team like we did this morning. And we're saying, look, let's stop with this carrier, even though they look good right now in Indiana. They look good right now in Arkansas. They look good right now in Oklahoma, because we see what's coming across the country. And it's the benefit of looking at the entire country as a whole that you get with somebody who can work over the telephone, that thing that was invented in 1800 something by Alexander Graham Bell. By working over the telephone as opposed to sitting face-to-face with somebody. When you're sitting face-to-face with somebody in, let's say, Rogers, Arkansas, you only have the benefit of the experience of what's happening in Rogers, Arkansas, not what's coming across the Ozark Mountains, not what's coming across the whole country. And it's the benefit of seeing the whole country at a glance to know what's happening with these carriers that we have the best shot at putting you with the most appropriate plan that will keep you without stress during your entire career with Medicare. Things change all the time. Things happen all the time with Medicare. And that's why I suggest highly, if you've not yet done so, you subscribe to this channel. Whether you're our client or just watching people, or just a student of the industry, I highly suggest you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you are made aware when things continue to happen in our industry. And I'll be there to bring it to you. My name is Christopher Westfall. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. And please share information with somebody who could benefit from it. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. If you've not yet seen it, make sure you see the artificial intelligence and what it's doing to kick people out of the treatment that they need on Medicare Advantage plans. Click right there. You can see that video.